I was born in India. I came to America when I was 4, and I knew an Islam that was a very moderate, kind, compassionate Islam. It was conservative. My mother wore the full face veil when she was in India because they interpreted women to have to cover like that. But in America, we were able to really enjoy the freedoms that America allows. But then the 1970s happened, and the Saudi interpretation of Islam came to America also. And what I have seen over these 40 years is that interpretation take root in communities from LA, to London. And so now one of the key architects for it was a man who'd written a book called just Milestones. It was a man named Sayyid Qutb, who was the founder of the Muslim Brotherhood. And what I have done in part of this effort is written a counter piece called Milestones for a Spiritual Jihad toward an Islam of Grace. And so what we try to do now in a movement that we've started called the Muslim Reform Movement is borrow from the same history that Jewish tradition has had now of Reformation and challenge interpretations, challenge law that is put forward in countries, Muslim countries, and argue for 3 main elements. One is peace, rejecting the very literal interpretations for a violent jihad. Second is human rights, including women's rights, including the right of a woman to, for example, be equal witness to a man, because in the 7th century in the Quran, as it's written, a woman is half the witness of a man. And then third, really critical, is argument for secular governance, rejecting the idea of institutionalized Sharia that defines the politics of a country, so that you have your code as you practice religion, but you don't make it the law of the land.
And what have been some of the challenges since you began this path?
So the greatest challenge inside any community is your own tribe, right? You all come from honor-shame cultures, and the honor-shame element of trying to challenge the orthodoxy, as you all know, because the experience of people that are Reform Jews in Israel, for example, facing the orthodoxy can oftentimes be of conflict, right? And illegitimacy. And so that's what we face, is we have left the tribe of the orthodoxy. And so we are called the fringe. We are called heretics, apostates, on all of these mechanisms that are meant to shame us.
Do you have a theory of law that you're working with to reform Sharia, Hadith, and
that's a
do you
great
identify
question.
with any one of the 4 schools of law in Islam?
Yeah, so as a Muslim, I grew up in a Sunni tradition. So the Sunnis are the majority sect, almost 80% of our population of Muslims in the world. And there are the 4 schools of jurisprudence in the Sunni, and then there's another 4 that we hardly talk about in the Shia sect because they're a minority sect. So I grew up in a tradition called Hanafi. The Wahhabis that we hear about a lot from Saudi Arabia, they come from a tradition called Hanbali in Saudi Arabia. So all of those traditions are very conservative in their interpretation. Not a single one of them will say, for example, that a woman can lead prayer as an imam. And so none of them offer us the opportunity for the new interpretations that we seek. And so we are going beyond those schools of jurisprudence. And the beauty of Islam is that we don't have a Vatican, so nobody can throw us out of the, quote, church. And so we have these communities that have emerged where women do lead prayer, where women and men are marrying in interfaith marriages without a demand for conversion, which is what all of the schools of jurisprudence require. And one of my ones that's dear to my heart is there's only one school in the Sunni faith, the Maliki school, that allows you to have a dog as a pet. And I have my dog now, Lily, and she is.
One of our dogs is named Lily as well. So.
It's the most popular name, and she is our Muslim Reform Movement.
One more.
sim, shalom, sim, shalom, sim, shalom, tova uveracha. Sim, shalom, sim, shalom, sim, shalom, tova uveracha. Ay, 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 ay.